Hey, it's Papa. Today I'm going to do a cheap hiking sandal review. So here we go. I wear sandals all the time, no matter whether I'm just living my life here at the minimalist cottage or if I'm hiking on the trail. I like them, even though my 30-year career in natural resources, I wore boots. But after I retired, I figured out boots are heavy, and boots, once they get wet, they stay wet for a long time, and they're expensive, and they take a long time to lace up and unlace. So I switched off from boots to sandals. Sandals I like because if they get wet, then they're going to dry much faster because there's not that much to them. The material, not being leather, it does not soak up the moisture. You can just take extra pairs of Goodwill socks and change your socks, and you're going to be much better off than trying to wear a pair of wet boots that are going to have gotten soaking wet and are going to be wet for a long time until the sun comes out and you have a day at least to dry them out, maybe 2 days, something like that. So, and the sandals are much lighter. It's true, if you're hiking in the desert, you get sand inside your sandals. That's part of it. I just dump them out more frequently. So, if you've seen my videos before, you know that I am a El Cheapo. I like to buy the cheapest thing and see if I can make it work. So I'm going to review today 3 different brands of cheap sandals and tell you about what I like about them and what I don't like about them. So here we go. Ta-da, ladies and gentlemen, here they are, our 3 contestants. Da-da-dun-da-dun-dum. Okay, the one on the left here, these are called Keen, K-E-E-N, that's the brand. They're the most expensive sandals that I have. And I like them for some reasons, and for some reasons I don't like them. I've had these for a number of years. I like them because this toe cover is very sturdy, and it comes up way up. If I start tripping over things, it's not likely for this toe covering to rip off. If it rips off, in some sandals, if the toe part rips off, then the whole sole's going to come off eventually. I like these sandals for hiking. They did cost, I think they cost $100 a pair now. I don't think I paid that much for them. If I did, I probably stayed awake at night worrying about it. But anyway, I don't hike in them anymore because they're heavy. They are too heavy. But I do work in them. They're great work sandals because they're rugged. There you go. Keen. Okay, so great for working. I don't hike in them. If you're not a skinny little old shrimp like me, you might not mind lugging around heavy sandals where you're hiking, and they'll probably last a long time. Although I have to tell you, this is ripping apart. See that? That's got to be sewn back. So that's Keen, the brand called Keen. Now over here on the right side, ladies and gentlemen, we have a pair called Dream Pair. This is a new sandal. I haven't seen this on our go-to for everything site, Amazon, before, but recently I did, and so I decided to buy a pair. And why did I decide to buy a pair? Because here again, this toe covering comes up high, fairly high. It's not as stout as the one on the Keen sandals, but it comes up high. And I wore these for a while, these Dream Pairs. They're about $30, I think, which is pretty cheap. But I found out really fast, see this white layer here that the sides of the sandal go down into? When you're hiking around, everything gets on this white layer and just goes right in here. Mud, water, humus from the ground, pieces of pine straw, rocks and pebbles. This is like a funnel, and it funnels them in. Plus, I don't like that stark white sole. It's going to get dirty eventually, and when it gets dirty, it ain't going to look too cool. I'll tell you what I love about these sandals is this Velcro heel business. Isn't that cool? That makes putting them on and taking them off so much easier and so much better than any other sandal I've had. But for me, this white business, this white shelf is just a no-go. It's just a no-go for me. So I'll probably wear these for working around the house or something eventually, but I'm not going to use them for hiking. And so that's a shame. What am I talking about when I say this shelf? Well, see with the Keen, there is no shelf. The side of the sandal just goes straight down into the sole. Here it goes down, it bumps into this shelf. And that shelf, we'll give it a name. We'll call it the collect everything and channel it into the feet shelf. Water, mud, etc. So I don't recommend these sandals, even though they were cheaper by $5 than the next pair that I'm going to show you that I really like and I'm going to use. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's see. You probably know what these are. See that? That's an A. That stands for Atika, A-T-I-K-A. I think these are the best El Cheapo sandals out there. One reason is they're a good tight fit. They're lightweight. This toe cover is okay, but in other pairs that I've had, this thing comes loose, and if it comes loose, this whole sole business will come off. So I have to be careful and try not to trip over stuff, which is not easy for me because I got a bad left leg. But it doesn't have the Velcro back where it'll open up. I don't like that. I would prefer for it too, but it's got this, and it's got one up here too, so you can grab a hold of these and wiggle it onto your feet. You'll notice that this looks different from the way they come from the store, right? You've got this slider to tighten them, and you just pull that down like that. Isn't that simple and easy and quick? It is. The only thing is it does not work for me. It might not work for you. You get this as tight as you like, and when you let it go, it goes and slides up a little bit. And then if you get it as tight as you can, then you start walking and it gets loose. So what I did was I cut off this end part. I'll show you. See on the Keen, see that end part that the two elastic bands or elastic strings are hooked to? I cut it off right there. And then I just tie this like a regular shoe, except when I tie it, I don't put a granny knot in there like this, because if you do that, you will never get that sucker out. It gets really tight, and it's really hard to get out if you pull it as tight. I just pull it as tight as I want, and then just do the bow thing like this. And you know what? That works for me really good. It gets them tight enough for me, and I like my sandals to be tight. And they'll eventually loosen up, but they'll go a long time before they start loosening up. And it won't come untied unless you're hiking through, briars and brush and stuff that jerks the knots out of them. But that's going to happen with just about anything you wear, any kind of lace that you have. So Atika is my preferred brand. I had a pair of these in 2019. Grammy and I, 2018 it was. We van camped for 6 months all over the western United States, and we did a lot of hiking. For us, we hiked maybe 20 miles a week. That does not sound like much for all you young whippersnappers, but for us it was a lot. And I hiked in a pair of Atikas, not these, and they held out really well. They did a fine job for me. Like I say, I have had pairs where this thing comes loose and then it's all over. I've tried siliconing this back, but eventually if that gets loose, the whole sole's going to come off. So when that happens, I just throw them away and buy a new pair, $35 plus or minus, and they're working good for me. So I hope that helps you guys when you get ready to buy, all you cheapos, when you get ready to buy cheap sandals. If you only spend a little bit on sandals and only spend a little bit on this and only spend a little bit on that, you can save your money for what you really want, like going to Alaska, or buying an electric guitar, or buying a brand new computer and a recording studio, or investing your money in stock market and making $1 million. So anyway, that's my sandal review today, and you heard it here on Papa TV. All right, Papa out.